Going. Oh, crap. Oh, we're live. I started
There
off with,
it is.
oh, crap. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at Slumber Party Live. I'm here with such a fun guest for you today. Someone that I've known for such a long time who I'm so excited to have on. You know him, and I know him from the Queen's Project. Thank you, Ken Arpino.
There you go.
Thank you, Ken Arpino. You know him from the national tour of Shrek. Ever heard of it? You know him from his a Broadway debut, which is now going to Netflix. Diana, please welcome to the stage, Andre Jordan.
Hi. Woo! Andre. That's everyone clapping to them. They're
Oh
going
my
nuts.
God. The masses are going wild. They're screaming. A woman just took off her bra and threw it at the stage. They're burning the place. They're burning their underwear.
I love it.
How
I
are
love it.
you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. It's beautiful here in the city today. Like it's like really nice weather. I've got the windows open and shit. Like it's very
Ooh,
nice.
is it so nice? It's like literally 856 degrees in LA. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It's so hot. I will be sweating, like just like drenched in sweat by the end of this podcast.
I love summer and like I'm cool with this like transition into fall or whatever, but I'm just a summer guy. I love heat,
Um,
I love sweat, I love air conditioning, I love ice cream. Yeah, I like all that stuff.
you're about me on your Tinder profile. I love heat. I love sweat. I love air conditioning and ice cream.
I love discomfort everywhere I go.
That's a New Yorker, honey. That's a New Yorker. I was social distantly hanging with a friend the other night, and he had moved here from New York to LA, and he had said something like, New Yorkers do not know how to enjoy their life.
Oh,
It's so true. The New York mentality is literally like, I will work and I
I
will
will
work
work.
hard. And
Even like
In LA, you're like, does anyone here know how to work?
what do y'all do? Everyone doesn't. What do y'all just hang out? Okay, cool. Go. No, I can hang out. Yeah, whatever.
I hang. No, I hang. In New York, you're like, I'm like, oh, I'm hanging out with Andre. You're like, what does he do? You're like, oh, he's a concert pianist and he's a bartender and he's actually on Broadway right now. And he just invested in a job like working at a parking garage, which he is also has stock in. And like, well, what does he do when he's in LA? Your friend Andre? He's an influencer.
He's influencer.
Like he just
That's
kind of take
very good.
pictures and
No,
literally
yeah, I
no
see him like at different burger bars. I don't know, like it's just something he does. I don't know.
no one here has a job. It's I don't understand how it works,
Yeah,
but it's crazy. Especially coming from New York. Like we
totally.
hustle.
Yeah,
Speaking of hustling, are you finally getting to like relax a little bit? Are you getting to chill?
yeah, yes. We just finished wrapping Diana for Netflix, which was like a really nice, great little chunk of time to work and stuff, and it was very intense and like very fast. But it was so much fun. We did the album. I don't know when that's coming out, but that's coming out soon.
were you, how?
Um,
Tell us about that. Tell us about the recording a Broadway cast recording.
so that was like a major goal. I mean, like on top of like the list of things, but like everyone has like their favorite cast album, right? Or like that one that like really speaks to them, or like the one you're like, oh, I really like. It's just, I don't know. It's major because like for theater kids to have like we've got like our own superstars within ourselves that like people in like popular music or our friends at school like wouldn't know, right? So we're like living for Betty Buckley in our rooms, and like we just know like the shows that she gives us through these albums, and that's how we can connect with them because like you don't get to see or hear their music all the time. It's just like for you and like for us. So to know that like there's gonna be some little queer kid that like pops in Diana and it just like lives for it and is gonna be inspired. Like it's gonna happen. Like it happens all the time. So that was really, really cool. It was
That's
really
so
cool.
cool. I love
Yeah.
I love that. What's yours? What's Andre's like show
Uh,
your album?
okay. Okay. So Carolina Change is my favorite musical of all time.
Oh
So like
yeah.
that double disc set does it for me. I also love, okay, I love Carrie the musical, but not, I mean, not that I don't not love the revival, but I just have like a special place in my heart because I discovered Carrie when I was like a senior in high school and I was downloading things off of LimeWire, like Defying Gravity when it was in San Francisco before like it came. Like that was how I was getting all the songs where they came out and stuff. So I had downloaded like the first 5 songs or something of Carrie the musical and like burn them onto a CD and like just listen to like those over and over again. So like that's also like a very like close album to my heart, but it's totally bootlegged from the closing show, which was their third night open, I think.
Something like that. It was short. Yeah.
Very short.
That is so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna throw out songs that I downloaded on LimeWire and Napster.
Yeah.
And you tell me if you had the same ones or different. My favorite discovery from LimeWire was Shoshana Bean going on for Nessa Rose singing Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh no! I have that one.
It's like on YouTube now, so you can find it. It is
right.
good. Because I just remember being like, there's a song in the show that's not on the album. Like I have to find it.
Like people don't do that anymore. They don't give you one to wait for, to like go to the show for. It's like we'll just leave this one out and people will gag for the reprise. Like it'll just be super fun.
It's kind of a genius marketing idea, being like,
it is, yeah, right?
This one's not going on the album. We're holding this one for the tickets.
We're holding this one for the tickets.
For the tickets. Okay, so there was that, and then oh my god, I don't think anyone had this, but I do want to talk about it. There was a mashup of "Oops, I Did It Again" and "Genie in a Bottle," a little Christina, a little Britney that they had. But when I say mashup, I mean like some 13-year-old in their house just overlaid the songs on top of each other.
Oh, okay, so not actually.
They're in different keys. So
it's like I'm.
It was literally like, "Oops, I Did It Again," I think was in the key that it's in, and like that started it. So it's like, "Oops, I did it again," and then it was like, "I'm a genie in a bottle, baby." It like so didn't. It absolutely didn't go together, and I listened to it so much and was like, "This is the best thing ever."
Because like that was like the thing, like you find these little gems online. You type something in, you're like, "Oh, I'll get that," or "I'll get this," and like you find these things that are pretty incredible. Like I would have never thought to have found that bootleg like that.
What else did you get on LimeWire besides Carrie?
So like I remember like my first like actual like burn CD that I had 1 in a Million from Miss Congeniality. You're 1 in a million, once in a... I had that on there. I had the Hamster Dance. Do you know the Hamster Dance?
No, what is that?
No, it must be a regional thing. But I had like a club mix of that. I had Fame, the song Fame from like the movie Fame.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
Hot Lunch from Fame. Yeah, like all of these things. There was like my first one that I had like burned, and I would listen to it when I mowed the lawn.
Yeah. Oh my god! Did you have Napster as well, or just LimeWire?
Just LimeWire. So Napster, I knew of Napster because my friend Dave had Napster. So like we would go to his house, like because he was like the first kid to like have it and get into it. So like we would go there because we really felt like we were doing this big legal thing. So we could only have one computer that was going to be up for it.
Yes.
So we would burn all our stuff at his place. But then once I got my own computer in high school, that I worked and paid for free and clear. Anyone here? I bought LimeWire when I had that. So that was when high school. So I was making all my own cast albums.
And you guys have to understand, if there's any young children watching this, young children, I mean anyone like under 29, we didn't have YouTube. Like,
no.
So this stuff was not accessible at all.
It wasn't accessible. And like, you would just type in something hoping that something would like kind of come up, right? Because you wouldn't even type it in on like a search engine and then it would direct you to LimeWire. Because like it was piracy. There were so many things about it. Artists are losing money. Britney's not getting her cash because we're downloading the mashups. You know what I mean? Like things like that. So it was like really like it was taboo because it was harmful at that time. And we knew it then, but like it still was happening. We still did it.
Yeah.
But I would never thought that like that would catch on and stay that way to become what streaming is now, because it essentially is like this, it's internet music, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I've never thought that I don't know, it didn't seem like that would last. Like I feel like, oh, LimeWire's over, they got us, but then Apple Music happened and
No, it was literally like download what you can because this is going
yeah.
any day. Any day you'll wake up and this is going to be scraped from the
Yes.
internet. And
And I
then
was downloading, yeah, I was also downloading like episodes of things, like all my favorite Simpsons episodes, like all my cartoons and stuff that I wanted. So like before, like I could just get it through Netflix or Hulu. Like I remember being like, oh, like nostalgic stuff. What do I want? I like downloaded like Rugrats episodes, Are You Afraid of the Darks, just to like have on my computer. It was
you were
insane.
doing it right. You were doing it right. I remember just searching. There were like three things that I really wanted to pop up there. One was, I don't know if you remember this if you're a Lord of the Rings person, but The Hobbit was gonna happen for like 10 years as a movie before it
Mhm.
actually happened. And so I would search every single day to see
Every
if the
day.
Hobbit trailer was out. And like literally this is 10 years before it actually got made. So I was searching in vain, but I would always look for the only clips of these that existed were on Broadway.com. So I would always look to see if there would someone would finally give me more on LimeWire of either Sutton Foster singing Astonishing and Little Women
Uh, yeah.
or Brooklyn the Musical, Eden Espinosa.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about that for a second. Because, and this is also something too, the kids should know. Any like, when I was in high school, the only way that I got to like see what Broadway things were going on was from watching like Broadway World, Broadway.com, or Playbill. And like the clips of the shows, that like rehearsal stuff they gave you, like that was it. Like that was like really all you got. And now like with like Twitter, you can get like to know the people more. I guess like you still, I don't know, it was everything to like have that little bit there to see like some kind of part of the show.
It
But I
was
remember
all,
that.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I love Brooklyn the musical. I love that show. Love it. I
I
saw the
would.
close performance.
You saw it on Broadway?
I did.
I
I
didn't see the closing, but I saw it on Broadway too, and I remember just being like,
was everyone in it when you saw it? Because
yeah.
I work.
Not when
The
you
last
saw it.
show, Homeboy. Now I can't remember his name.
I
Was it
never
Brooke
know the
Ashton?
men.
I never know the men.
I
Right?
never know the men. I can tell you every woman. I can tell you the standbys. I can tell you. I never know the men. People go. I've normally been interviewing Alphabas on here from Wicked, and people are like, "Are you gonna do Fieros?" And I was like, "No."
Oh. Why?
Why?
But it was my first weekend in the city when I came to go to school to AMDA. I got here on a Thursday, and that Sunday was the final performance, but it was also Gay Pride Parade that day. And I was still in the closet, and I didn't want to go to the parade with everybody, so I went. I was like, I'm gonna go see a show. I'm not gay. Like I was like that kind of projecting. So I went and I got a ticket at TKTS, and I got to see the final show. It was incredible. It was incredible.
The final show of that must have been nuts. I mean, they're probably just leaving it all.
Notes for Jesus. They were everything was just strong. It was just like, everyone take your time up there. We've got all day. It's 2:00. There's no other show after this. Like, let's do this.
Do it. First of all, I love that you were like, I don't want anyone to know that I'm gay, so I'm going to Brooklyn the musical.
I'll fool them all. They'll see.
They'll never catch me here. Full of what heterosexual culture I'm partaking in.
I didn't. Oh yeah, I did.
That is so funny. And okay, let's talk. I mean, Karen Olivo, Eden Espinosa, Ramona Keller. The children have forgotten Ramona Keller, and they need to be taught.
I agree. Did you see the Hercules in the park?
No.
I did. Okay, so I did see the Hercules in the park. I do feel like they did Ramona Keller dirty, only because she's incredible, but like the sound in that space was just not able to support what these women were bringing. Plus the like 40 extra, there was just like a lot of people on stage, you know what I mean? So like in like a smaller theater space, like all that stuff would have cut through, I think, a little differently. But I was remember being like, I can't, is her mic on? Could someone, what are they trying to do my diva like this? What is happening?
Get that mic working for Ramona Keller. I mean, Yes, I remember seeing her in Brooklyn and being like, "Holy crap!" And then I saw her in the Ellen Green, Jake Gyllenhaal Little Shop at
Oh, work,
Encores.
yes.
She was one of the urchins, and
Love
oh,
that.
I was like, "Oh my God, I watched this woman like sing." And like you're saying about the Broadway.com thing, like I would rush home after school when I was 16, flip open Broadway.com and just like see if there'd be any more like rehearsal clips because I wanted to hear her singing Raven and I wanted to hear Eden Espinosa. I just that was really all we had were those like little tastes of it.
Uh-huh.
That's very cool that you are a part of that culture now for people. Like you're saying, like you are on an album
It's
that
insane. It's like full circle. Little Andre made his made his dreams come true. Like in that kind of sense. Like I this is when I was in high school is when I really started getting into theater, and this just all feels like right. And it's yeah, very exciting.
that's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about booking the show, like what that felt like and knowing you were going to be on
Yeah.
Broadway?
Yes. So the first audition I went to was for they were doing a workshop in the fall of 2019, 18, 2018, sure. 18? I can't remember. But I had went in for that. Had been 20, I don't remember, guys. Went in for it, and then like I think I had maybe like 5 or 6 callbacks for it originally for just that workshop in the fall, and then I didn't get it. And then they called me back again like 2 weeks later because someone had dropped out, and brought me back in again for that day, and then didn't hear anything again. And then once they announced that they were officially coming to Broadway, they had their Broadway calls, and that was in like October. And I went in on Halloween last year to dance in the morning and then like do some callbacks then. And then that week was like the callback process. And then like, I had finished the whole day. It was like a Thursday, I want to say. Thursday was the last day. And it was just like, okay, now we just wait. I remember my mom called me that night and she was like, so how was it? And I was just like, it was good. I did everything I just knew I had done everything I was supposed to do. There was nothing else I could have done better. I made it all the way to the end. And I was also expecting to hear back in like 2 weeks. I was like, I'm not gonna freak out about it. Like it's fine. Like I'll hear when I hear, but I'm not gonna be pressed. And then the next morning, I was getting up to go to work. I worked at Bowmore Lanes at Chelsea Piers.
Mhm.
You ever been down there? Bowling, laser tag. So I woke up at like 9 o'clock to take out my dog. And then when I brought her back, I was an email from my agent that was like, you should call me. So he called me and then he told me that I had booked it like that morning. And like I screamed. I was there with my boyfriend Johnny, and like he was getting up ready to go to work and screamed. We cried. Um,
Oh,
very, 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 very excited day. I called my mom. I called my high school drama teacher because I always told him that he would also be like one
oh,
of the
that's
university.
so sweet.
No, yeah, it was a really, really great day. And then like to go to like my day job that I hated so much and like sucked the life out of me and I did not want to go to know that I could just go back and it didn't matter anymore. I got to just
Yeah.
like everything was all good. And then yeah, we did a workshop in December before we started our like official rehearsals in January. So it was great. It took a while, but like when it was time, it happened very quickly. So it was really insane, but it was perfect. Like
That
investment.
is so cool. That's so, I'm so happy for you and so excited for you. And that is amazing. And I know we can't talk too much about the filming of it, but
Uh-huh.
I do just think it's so cool that that happened. We'll only say like what has already been announced, like in press releases, because I think that's really exciting, especially for so many people who are sitting at home thinking like, is there going to be live theater again? Like, what's going to happen? How can we continue on in this career? And I just think it's like so amazing that you guys did that and that we're gonna I'm so excited that I'm gonna get to watch you in my living room make
It's
your
really
Broadway
crazy.
debut. Like that's so cool.
Yeah. We're all very excited that this is happening, but like super blessed. Lucky is doesn't even begin to describe it. Like it's one thing to like have booked any show this season, right? But to have all for us to have been put with this show that is the one show that was still like moving forward and doing something that's totally never been done before, being a part of history. but also like hopefully inspiring the theater community that like these things will come back. These things are possible. Look what we did.
And it
Yeah, so
will.
I think it will too.
It will. I know it's tough times out there for everybody right now, but I mean, we cannot live without storytelling. Like we just can't. Like it's been a part of our human history for since the dawn of time. And movies and TV are great, but what happens with theater is a different thing that we're always going to crave, and we'll figure this out and it will come back. But what a special magical thing that you guys have found a way to send it out to the rest of the world. And as far as the plot of the show, it's
Mhm.
about when she's on season 3 of American Idol, and it's her versus Fantasia, right? And we're just trying to figure out, is it going to be her, is it going to be
That's where like
Fantasia?
yeah, it starts there. It starts right at like right there, like right at the top of it, and then we got
Ladies and gentlemen,
I love
Diana DeGarmo.
Diane and I were on the Joseph tour together.
What?
Back in this 2015. Yeah, it was Diana and Ace were the narrator and Joseph. Yeah, I joined that tour the second year that it was out. Yeah. Have
Were you
you
in
had her
the
on the show?
I haven't had Diana, but would I die? Yes.
Oh, she would definitely.
I called in. I would call in. I was
Yeah,
messaging
yeah.
her. I wait. Where did you watch American Idol?
Yes, I did. Yes,
So
I
were
did.
you freaking out when you got that show, or were you like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep it cool"?
I was too. I was because like, and I also saw her when I was in high school. I saw her in Hairspray. So I knew who she like. We knew who Diana was. She's incredible, and like, I was a bit starstruck, more so her than Ace because I didn't know it. Oh, and I
I
saw
haven't
her
seen
in
that
Hair.
season.
I also saw her in Hair, and so like, I was, I was very much so, and they were just like the sweet, and they still are the sweetest, kindest, nicest people you could ever imagine.
Oh my
Like
god, I love that.
they were incredible. Like they never missed a show. They took care of themselves. They took care of everyone. Like there would be times where like, we were watching American Horror Story nights and they would just pop in with a pizza and say like, oh, hey, you guys are having a little party. We just wanted to give you guys some pizza. We're gonna go. Like they're just incredible and they're incredibly professional. They're sickening.
Oh my god, I love that so much. There's a clip of her singing "A New Life" when she did the Asia tour of Jekyll and Hyde, and it's like, damn, this woman has a musical theater belt that is just. Imagine this, Andre. I want you to imagine this right now. There's a
Yeah.
Footloose the musical revival, and you get to hear Diana sing that score. I want you to imagine that. Her voice on that score? Come on.
oh, oh,
Anika Noni Rose does Let's Hear It for the Boy.
yeah.
Diana does Ariel.
Mhm.
Listen, I have big hopes for this. There are people asking questions in the live.
Oh
I
my gosh.
thought I thought we were gonna be fielding a lot of Diana questions that we can't answer, but no, we're fielding a lot of
No.
Queen's Project questions we can't answer.
Oh, okay, okay.
um,
That's fine.
thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks, Brianna.
Yes, thanks everybody. Hi.
Hi. Let's see. Um, okay, Queen's Project. We love the Queen's Project. Thank you guys.
We
Thanks,
love the Queen's Project.
Stephanie. Steph, we love you. Thanks for always being such a supportive, wonderful
Super
person.
supportive.
Oh, okay. Stephanie wants to know, are we excited for the Britney musical coming to Broadway? Once Upon a One More Time. Are you a Britney fan?
I love Britney.
Okay.
I'll have times where like I'll just be like, you know what I need? A Britney break. And you just like gotta put on Toxic. You gotta put on Stronger. I'm very excited for it. I wanted to go in for this, but I was this while this was auditioning, Diana stuff was also happening, and I just was like, I don't want to do anything else. I just focus on this. But I've got some friends in it, and I've heard it's good. Like I love this style of doing jukebox, kind of like Mamma Mia. Like it's more clever to like
Mm-hmm.
take the song and make the story kind of make sense around it. Like Mamma Mia, like those songs could not be like you wouldn't think they would all fit into like the same catalog, not even on the same album, but like the story really works and like the songs move the story along. So like, and that's a testament to like the whole team. So like I'm excited for this because I think that usually works out better than just like a biography.
I agree so hard with that. I think that, yeah, a biography. Here's my problem. Okay, here's my problem with biography musicals and biography, like um, movies when they're about a singer.
Yeah.
It always is act one. I always find to be like so interesting, and then but then pop stars, their act two is always the same thing. It's always they either got heavily into drugs and then lost their money, or they got into a bad relationship and lost their money.
About their money. Yeah.
And it's kind of
I
just
never really
like,
thought about that before. Yeah, it's the same hero story, but yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
because Hollywood and like the music industry just kind of like does that to people. So like we know that. So it's kind of tough to like, I'm just kind of like, I think the ones that did it right did it so right and it was like so fun. And now I think it's so much more fun to see. Yeah, Once Upon a One. I heard it's really cool, like just a bunch of different like cool new characters singing. And I love camp and it sounds
I
campy.
love camp and like fairy tales. Like, yeah, let's do that. Like, make it all make sense for me. I'm here for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So it reminds me of that commercial she did when we were kids, when we were like junior high, probably. Do you remember when she did that perfume commercial? And I think it was called like Fantasy or something. And she's got fairy wings on. She's just running through
um,
the woods.
yeah. My cousin had that. I think she had that scent.
Okay, I would have been
She had
going to
all
your cousin's
like
every
J
day.
Lo. Yeah.
I have it in my stand-up set where I was like, I used to wear Britney Spears, Britney Spears perfume. It smelled like sweet tarts and queefs. And I wore it to school every single day.
Every day.
Yeah, so we're excited about the Britney show. That sounds awesome, honestly.
I'm very excited about
Um,
it.
oh, Tobias said he saw Joseph in Vegas and it was so good. Thanks, Tobias.
Vegas was incredible. Vegas was a good time.
How long were
That
you
was
in
fun.
Vegas?
Vegas was a week. Vegas was just a week.
Damn. Was that so fun touring like that and just like,
Yes, because I love touring. I Legally Blonde was my first tour. That was back in 2011,
did
and
you do
then
that
right
with
after that
Ken?
was
Is that how you met Ken?
uh-huh. Yep. And then I did the Madagascar live tour in the UK in like 2013, 14, and then the Joseph one in 20 it's like 16, 15, 16. But I love touring. I love touring.
Tell me about touring the UK.
It was I loved it. We had 8 weeks. We were in one city a week, which was great. You get to like get yourself acclimated and hit it. So like it really was pretty short. It was just like an 8 week kind of gig. The company was based in the Netherlands, and they were a company that really does ice shows, like ice rink extravaganzas, and they wanted to start getting into doing like different like bigger stadium type shows. So that's when they bought Madagascar Live. Um, so like them as a company, it was a little rough. It was their first time, and we were non-equity in a strange land. But it really was a really cool experience. Like that was the first time I got to visit Amsterdam. I experienced legal weed for the first time there.
Hell yeah.
It was incredible. And then I got to go like with London. Where else did we go? Brighton, Glasgow. Yeah, all over. That was great. I really
That's
liked that.
cool. That's
That
really
was
cool. Speaking of Legally Blonde, let's
Are
let's
you
dive in.
ready? I was honestly, because I watched it once already when I was in quarantine. Watching it again literally today just to like brush up and make sure that I get some of these important story points that I need to get across. Because we have to break down the production and the storytelling and what they put these girls through and how it's incredible. It's incredible. It's
It's
incredible.
the best TV I've ever seen in my
It's so good.
life.
And you know me, I am a sucker for reality competition shows. I love mini challenges, main challenges. I like to see people rise and fall. I like to see them overcome obstacles. I like to see the manipulation that the producers do, no matter how heinous it is. It always makes for great television. So this blew my mind because I actually didn't watch it back in the day when it happened. I knew that Bailey had won because like I was kind of keeping up with it, but I was in Hong Kong at the time. Like I just wasn't on my radar. But then watching it back, all of like my whole creative team from Legally Blonde was in it. And I didn't know like Mark Bruni, who was our director for the tour, is like the associate that does that first scene with them. Rusty Mowry, who set the show for us. So he was the one that was like helping them choreograph all that stuff. but I was blown away. I thought it was so okay. Where do we start? Where do we start?
Where to
Um,
start?
we'll start in the beginning. So like, they bring all the girls in. I also watched the reunion that you did with the
Thank you
women. With
so
all
much.
it was incredible. I was like, after watching all of that, I just wanted more of it, and to know that there was 2 hours I could just sit with the girls and you and just like talk about what went down.
I'll be honest, as we were filming it, I was like, this is too long. I was like, I was like, I did not expect for this to be this lengthy. I was like, people are gonna be like annoyed that it's this long. And then people keep messaging me being like, I could have watched that for so long because those girls are really they
Oh,
really gave I thought it was just gonna be kind of campy, like fun, like just a kitschy, silly idea that I brought back together this 2008 reality show. No, it was like a real reality show reunion episode.
it
I was like,
was. It
I was just
was.
sitting there like, oh, y'all are
Oh,
giving TV, which
oh,
makes me
so
even angrier at the MTV producers who produced that show because I'm like,
yeah.
you can just treat people with kindness and they'll still give you good TV.
Especially in this scenario where like there is no to a young theater performer working in New York City, there is no greater stake than being the lead in a Broadway show, right? Like there is nothing else that is more powerful to drive someone forward and to say, get out of my way, right? Like
Yeah.
so to throw like the extra stunts at them is just buffoonery. But also not dumb. Like these things kind of like work. You know what I mean? They had an idea of like what they could do, and it's actually kind of smart because I like that the main challenges were actual scenes and things from the show. So like they're learning how to be the character and actually implement what they do like there, like to actually do the thing and the scenes and stuff like that. Um, what was awful was the edits of them. Like so, like Cassie S to have received the villain edit in that way. And you know what? Something is, I knew that she was getting that edit the second, like that first episode. I was like, they're good. That's how they're doing her here. It's
Mm-hmm.
exactly how they're doing it. Because like she's incredible. Like her dance audition, like to come in as like a dancer, to come in as just to say that like I'm just a dancer. I don't sing. I don't act. And then to sing the way she did, better than like on that day at least than some of the girls that had been doing it. Like she really had a lot to offer, and like I know it had to go to someone, but it's funny that they went with the young girl and not the older ones that could be more easily manipulated to be like, well, we deserve this because you're older. That's it. They don't, because Emma and Autumn were fantastic, and definitely like they. And I saw Autumn in the Something Rotten tour in Vegas a couple. I don't go to Vegas that much. You guys, I swear.
Andre's only ever in Vegas.
but but to see her get this and to like it to not necessarily, well, we know now, manipulate what they say, because the first thing they start off right at the top of the thing with a lie. Haley Duff, strike one. Haley Duff says to the girls, says to the girls, to the group of girls, which is like a culmination of like the girls that they've already done the psych evaluations for, and like random people like that they brought in like to mess with them, and says to the whole group, it says, none of you have ever been on Broadway, which is automatically a lie because Emma had been on Broadway before and Lena had been on Broadway before. Yeah. So like it's already set up like this isn't real, you guys. Like that's the first thing that should have like really fired the cannon for them.
The second thing should have been Haley Duff being like, I'm your Broadway mentor.
And she's like, I know when I was on Broadway in Hairspray, just what it takes. It's really hard, you guys, to sing, dance, and act 8 days. Like it's like,
it was so hard to be offer only after doing Napoleon Dynamite. Girl, these women have been up in their stilettos with their hair curled since 4 a.m. waiting around the block. Don't tell them what's hard.
Yes. And I was, yeah. I was also like, like I said, like I knew Bailey had won, so I was excited to see like who was gonna make it through each episode. I was really pulling for Natalie. I really, really liked Natalie. I thought she was like really doing it for me a lot of the time.
I'm obsessed with Natalie. I'm obsessed. Natalie and I have stayed in contact since the reunion, and we message on Instagram sometimes. And she's like big. She's like very big in the LA theater scene out here, and she's like always doing shows. And her voice is so good. She's so talented.
Oh gosh, she's doing so well. I was really upset when she went home.
I know. Those episodes are up now, right? You're able to watch the full.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because at
yeah,
the
yeah.
start of quarantine, 5 and 6 were not on YouTube.
Oh
Where they
really?
where they dyed their hair and Natalie getting
Uh-huh.
eliminated, that was all
Oh my
not up.
gosh. When they were doing that, I was like, they're gonna put them in wigs. This really makes no sense. And then to hear the girls talk about like how drunk that guy was that day, like, ooh, yikes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was something.
that was something. But I mean, these girls, they really have this, like I said, this incredible trauma bond that they went through. But I mean, like, the only thing I disagree with is that I do think that this is something that would definitely fly today. I feel like this is actually like what people need. I mean, like, if at that time no one knew what that was, right? No one
Yeah.
really understood. I think it was you. I can't remember which girl said it. It's like I would have just, oh, Lena, I think she's, I just would have played up a character more. I would have shown, she would have shown up there and been like, oh, okay, like they like me, but like they obviously don't think I'm Elle Woods. So like I'm just gonna have fun, like, and just be myself and just be a character. Um, so I think people knowing what they're kind of getting into could make it more exciting, but also the realness of like putting those girls in that spin class and singing all that stuff the whole time. And then the sneaky foreshadowing of the episode before where they go to meet Nikki Snelson and she's just on a bike in a Nike store and she's like, oh, hey, what are you guys doing? Yeah.
I didn't
And then
catch that. That's
pop them on there. And
sneaky.
I'm like, ooh, so sneaky. So sneaky. And
Yeah,
I
you're
also
right.
don't,
Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, like, I don't think that there should have been a double elimination between Cassie S and Lena. No,
No,
I don't
that
think
was
so.
lame. That was
Yeah.
so lame. But I guess you're right. Some of that stuff does still fly today because, like, on one hand, in 2008, your prize for the episode was hanging out with Nikki Snelson. And then Drag Race Holland, their prize for the whole show is a dress.
For the draft, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
some of that stuff still flies. And we do see some of that editing happening in reality TV.
And it's yes, and it's fascinating because like it works for good television, but like at the cost of these girls, it's really unfortunate. And it's also funny because like, to know, like, watching, I'm like, okay, Cassie S is getting the villain or whatever. And they also set her up that like, they don't expect her to do well in that one challenge, and they're all really shocked when she gets back. Bailey also has some things that she says towards Cassie. They're not very nice. Like, I think at one point she actually like kind of calls her a bitch, or that she thinks she's obnoxious, and like, but it's okay because that's in service of Cassie's storyline, right? So it's like we accept that Bailey can feel that way about Cassie because Cassie's too much, and Cassie's an obsessed theater girl, and she's the youngest, and she's the loudest, and she doesn't care about anyone but herself. And it's like, no, none of those things are true. All of these girls are in a competition. Like, they all want this part. Yeah, like we're friends, but like they're all very aware that it's just for this. So like I hated hearing that Cassie had, been bullied by like strangers in the mall after this just because the TV show made her look, insane when she's not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really heartbreaking hearing those stories. And it's like it really bothers me because I think it's kind of all related this way that like things are spoon fed to us either through TV or through the internet, and we just kind of accept them at face value. But it's like it's honestly it's sort of similar to what we see now with like um people getting famous by like exploiting their relationships on YouTube or on Instagram by being like, this is a how we met video. And it bothers me because when you look, and I worked for an Instagram influencer for a long time, like ghostwriting for him and writing sketches for him. And when you read these comments, like people just completely buy into the narrative. And it's like, no, Cassie S can be whatever she was being, immature or whatever came up for her that day on that show, and still be so many other great things. And these
Yeah,
girls that you're rooting for to win can seem really wonderful on the show, and they also can have the Cassie S side to them too, or the whatever else side to them. So it's
right.
it's like it's frustrating to watch people, and we're seeing, not to get political on this podcast, but we're seeing it there very much, right? Where it's like everyone's just kind of, no one's like going deep
We're
in
believing
this.
the edits. We're all believing the
We're
edit that we're getting.
believing the
Like,
edits.
we're just
Yeah.
believing. And it's like, no, it's not real. You have, yeah, you said you got to get behind like what's really going on, and because
What
then when that
happened?
happens, you have people that just come out of pocket and are bullying people because they feel, you know, you've triggered them in some way. You know what I mean? And that they have to fight back with you, or they have to get in your face about something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like honestly, what happened to Cassie S is like a metaphor to what's happening to America.
Cassie S, like justice for Cassie S.
Justice.
I was so happy. Like, I always think of like these shows and like, you know, like Drag Race, like, oh, top this week, bottom that week. Oh, how does she do in this challenge race? The next week after she got double eliminated was the dance challenge, was the main dance challenge where they did the positive dance. So I'm like, okay, so something's up. You all obviously, somebody didn't like her, something, because like, why would you double, because she wasn't the first one to go. It was Lena was first. So Lena was out there. And then it was like, you have to go too, Cassie. Why? Because she's gonna slay next week, and you like
right.
Don't know how to,
it doesn't work with your edit
around, because that's the thing that's going on too. The producers also have to like, they have a story they're trying to tell also. So like, whether Cassie does well or not, if it works this week that she can't continue, then she's gone, which is like awful to think of, like someone's dream like that, because like, you know, I guess the same thing for like Drag Race or anyone. Like if you're there for that competition, it's and you really want it, but sometimes it's like super out of your hands.
Yeah, it's so much crazier than Drag Race though, because like on Drag Race, yeah, if you win, you do win $100,000. That's a big deal. But no matter where you are in that lineup of girls, your career and your life has changed forever. Like you automatically have at least 100,000 followers on Instagram. You can sell ads on there. You can do shows all over the world. For these girls, it was like you are embarrassing yourself by going on reality TV back then, before reality TV is what it is. So you're like losing some street cred as a theater artist, and you either need to win and get a Broadway, like if you win Drag Race, yes, you win a lot of money and you have the clout of being a winner. But other than that, it's like, all right, now you're done. Go do whatever you're gonna do. If you won this show, you were the lead of a Broadway show for at least 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
The stakes could not be higher. The dream, like the singular dream to be the lead of a Broadway show. It's just, I mean, kudos to them for coming up with this idea, because it was unbelievable TV.
And it really, yes, and like kind of the perfect time to do it. I mean, if I'm thinking like 2008 reality shows, I'm thinking Charm School, some I Love New York's, like that's what was on TV also at the time, right?
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
So these girls are competing with Tiffany Pollard and Flavor Flav and, and Monique and all these other things. But like to look back on it now, and you really just value the camp and the drive that all these girls have and love for each other. When they stood up and were like, we're not doing these questions. They were like, who's the worst singer? Who's the worst actress? Who's all this? And those girls broke down. And you know what's awful? At first, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Who should go home and why? Like I was there for it. I was like, oh, this will be fun. But it's like, no, not for these girls. And especially not for this show. Like this, it is the antithesis of like the character and what the show embodies. Like it doesn't look good for a Legally Blonde to play this game. It's not nice in a room full of like
it's like nice. I always think of it like producing reality TV similarly to like comedy. Like it's like to have great stand-up comedy is similar to finding great drama in reality TV. You want to go right up to the line and hit it. You want to hit the line. You don't want to, or you can cross the line a little bit. But if you go too far past the line, now you're making people uncomfortable. And nobody wants to be uncomfortable, but it's hard. It's difficult to produce reality TV. It's difficult to write a joke. So you want to go like up, and they like, there were some questions on there that they could have made that segment really dramatic and interesting. And then like the stuff about the girl's weight and the stuff about like who's the worst singer was just like, oh, y'all crossed the line. Like this is so
the line.
Yeah.
And they all like each other. Like, why are you doing that? Like someone's job that day was like, okay, they're not working. We got to go back and type something up and slip it under tonight. Cause like we got to give them extra call sheet or something. Like, yeah.
Pick 5 of those questions. Don't give them 15.
It was like 20. There were ones that the girls were saying on your reunion that were not listed in the show. It's like, damn, they said all that too.
They went.
Someone wanted to know when my Rachel Potter. I had to watch I took the end of the episode, realized that Rachel was Rachel Potter. And I was just like, oh, gag. And I was rooting for her. Like when I was first watching, like, okay, Rachel's there, and I can't remember who was in the bottom with her. I think it was maybe Cassie O. I think it was maybe Cassie Lindsay.
And Lindsay, yeah.
And I was like, okay, Rachel, because she's got the voice, she's gonna get it. And I was upset, but then I was like, oh, if she made like she was in the top 15 of these girls, you know, the casting people knew her. And then like she said afterwards, like she got an agent like the day after that dropped and was able to come to the city with an agent and her equity card from Disney and to hit the ground running. Yeah, I'm a big Rachel Potter fan. I saw her in Evita.
I listen to that all the time. Another suitcase, another. I listen to that all the time. She's very good. She's a very good singer.
She is. All these girls. I had no idea that Selena was Lena Hall at all. Like, did not. And I kept walking up like, gosh, she looks so familiar. I was like, but Selena, like I didn't. And then I did the Google of everybody and I was like, holy crap. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's like an A-list Broadway star, Tony Award winner.
Tony.
And I love that she changed her name because of the show.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. I was like, if any of that trauma was used consciously or unconsciously during that performance to win her that Tony, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. And also, two of the other girls, Emma and Natalie, both have really famous dads. Emma's dad is Jerry Zaks, who is a big director, producer. And Natalie's dad is Squiggy from the Laverne and Shirley show. Some of you kids might have to look that up, but like he is, do you know who Squiggy is?
I know the Laverne and Shirley show. I did not know that was Natalie's dad.
Yes, that's Natalie's dad. And then like the first episode, she's like, we're, people going to the family business. My family's actors. That's what we do. I'm like,
I remember that.
The most. That's so cool. Yeah, so like icons all around.
Genius idea, icons all around, and genius idea for a show. And like, just I was watching the Amy Schumer documentaries on HBO Max. Have you seen this?
I haven't.
They're so good, and so much of it is about her like going on stage and like what happens backstage, like before the show starts, and the drama of that, and also the backstage antics and the preparing of rehearsals in Pen 15. I was just like, yeah, this is all I mean, people have been saying this forever, but this is such a good idea for a show to just film backstage of a theater. Oh, and Drag Race Vegas, that was the other thing that I've been like, when they're like pissed at each other because somebody shows up late, I'm like, this is so real. Like,
but I'm also that person too. I'm like, how dare she?
I know.
Who the hell is she?
We're a community. This is an ensemble piece.
We have to pray. This is an ensemble. Rue is here. What is wrong with you?
Rue is here. You're embarrassing me.
Absolutely not.
I have hot gossip to spill with you after this about someone. About one of the drag queens.
On Vegas or
yeah.
Okay.
I'll spill it here and I won't name them.
Okay.
one of the cast members of Drag Race Vegas, we were doing with that influencer who I used to work for, we were doing a 3-day shoot where we were paying the queens not me, like a big makeup company was paying the queens a lot of money for 3 days of filming. And one of those Drag Race Vegas girls, it was like 6 months of planning, and we had built the set ourselves, and we like set it up in YouTube studios, and there were like caricatures drawn of them, and it was Bob the Drag Queen, Peppermint, and then a third girl. And she texted us. Filming started at 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that, or 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. for 3 days. And she texted us at around 5 a.m. I'm not making this flight/gig. So we were just completely screwed.
Yeah.
And then we spent the whole day like talking to her management, being like, do you think she's gonna come tomorrow? Like, we could still film for the next 2 days. And then eventually it just came out that she just like didn't want to come.
Oh my gosh.
It was like 6 months of planning, and we ended up using a New York queen who was local, who hadn't been on Drag Race yet, so that ended up being great for her. But it was like, I'm just watching that show like, I love you, Queen, so much, but I'm gonna request just like a little bit more professionalism.
Hello. And that's honestly why I fucks with Asia. Because I understand. I mean, like she could be a little more open with her feelings. I mean, we all could. But I think that she is very, very professional in the way that she shows up and the things that she wants.
I
Uh,
love her. Did I tell you that I was at the butterfly taping?
no. Okay. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk
Okay,
about this.
let's get in. Let's get in. And then Tobias, thank you so much for your Queen's Project question. I will get to that in a minute, but we just have to kiki about Drag Race for a second. I I went to the season 10 finale taping with my boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
It was about 34 hours long.
Yeah,
I will
I
never
believe
go
that.
again. It was exciting and cool to see, but like so draining and long.
One and done.
One and done. The whole crowd was Team Asia. The whole crowd. We were like, Asia, Asia. Like I was certain she was gonna win just based on the vibe
Yeah,
in the room. And then when that happened, we rightfully
I
turned.
feel the disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no, I mean, there was nothing to do. It was like I was sitting all the way in the back and you could even see it from there. You like saw her like I saw her take the breastplate out, throw it in the air, and then look down disappointed. And I was like, that was supposed to be a reveal. What just happened?
Oh, yikes.
It was heartbreaking.
That is really heartbreaking. You were at like it lived and died like that day. Like that was it. Like no
Yeah.
one like you can't do anything like that anymore. Not a,
No,
not a reveal.
we're
No.
done. That was the end. That was
Yeah.
the end. And what they don't show on that is Aquaria fell really hard
Oh
in
yeah?
in the lip sync with Eureka where they both got a double shante, you say.
Uh-huh.
Um Eureka had like 8,000 reveals in that number,
Uh-huh.
and something that she threw on the ground, your Aquaria tripped over it and she fell really hard, like boom hard. And
Oh,
she got back up and kept dancing, but I just remember being like, oh God, I hope that doesn't stop her from
doesn't
winning.
no.
Yeah.
They
And then it was
lip
a
sync.
they only lip sync once. Yeah. Which is kind of fascinating because you're like, you'd think they would do it more than once, but nope, they just make sure those cameras are catching it. they
Uh-huh.
they did it a one time and that was it.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to go. Like now that you said that, I can imagine that like it's a lot. Because then they have to do all the girls winning. It's a long shooting day. It's a full day. Those specials themselves are at least like an hour and 40 minutes. So like, yeah, that's a lot.
It was well over 8 hours. It's a lot of
Yeah.
it's like being a background actor. Like it's a lot of
Yeah.
stop start, a lot of like
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, it's really fun for like 2 hours and then it's like, oh my God, this is still happening.
Still happening.
And
And then
there's
you
so
gotta like,
much. Yeah, I did. They're like, come on, come on. You're like,
come on,
"Ah,
you're gagging.
you're gagging, but that's right. And you're like, yeah, and you're like sitting in front of Mrs.
Yeah,
Tasha Davis, who's like, oh my
right.
God, these gays screaming, yes, we're in drag.
I love it.
But the one really fun part of that day was we were sitting in the way back. So they had queens going down the aisle to talk to RuPaul from the aisleway. And it was like Angina and BB Zahara Benet. And they were like secretly chatting with us, all of us in the back. And that was really fun. That was cool. BB Zahara Benet sat on my boyfriend's lap and was just like fully flirting and like just being gregarious and being like such a star. And that was really fun.
You know, I have a history with BB Zahara Benet.
No.
So I so Marty Gould Cummings actually set me up with her when this was like right after her season. So this is like 2010 maybe. I had just finished doing Rent at the Dutch Apple Dinner Theater, and Marty had sent me a message and was like, "BB Zahara Benet just moved to the city after winning. You know, she won Drag Race. She had moved to the city, and like she's doing this one woman show. And she's like for background singers. Do you want me to like link you up? You can audition for her." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Because like no one was really watching Drag Race back then. Not like now. Like I had
Right,
watched the first
right.
season when it came out. Like it was, I knew exactly who she was, and I was very excited. So I auditioned for her, and then I ended up working with her for like, I worked with her on and off for about 3 or 4 years. So the first couple of like the time that I was with her was like, she was writing all new music. We were going to do a cabaret show at Don't Tell Mamas. That was the first show that we did. all the music she wrote herself, all the backgrounds, all the vocals. She worked with the producers. We were also filming at the time. This was actually really insane. Because we weren't going to pay for any of it. So like we would do like, I would go to like my day job. I was working at the time. I don't know if you remember, underneath the Marriott Marquis, there were those 3 Broadway souvenir gift shops. Like,
Oh yes.
Photo. So I worked there underneath
Ugh.
that. So I would work there from like 8 until like, 4 or 5 or whatever. And then I would go to Brooklyn and then be at BB's and work on music for like 3 or 4 hours, all while also filming a pilot for a reality show. It was like a new network that they were trying to get content put together, and it was like specifically for LGBTQ people of color. So they were also filming this reality show about like BB and her journey in the city and all this kind of stuff. Doing that with her, and then we would do like club appearances. We performed at like Excel. I'm in her music video for her song Cameroon. You can find that on YouTube.
The song.
Yes. Yeah. So like, and then I worked with her for about, it felt much longer, but it was maybe like 6 months the first time before I left for Legally Blonde. I booked Legally Blonde and then left BB. But then once I finished that, I got back. I would just like, if she was like around, and like I would just meet together and like work on songs and stuff, and I would do like little shows and things like that for her. But she's also working on she's been working on a documentary for years. So all that footage back then, all of her stuff now, she has a documentary called Being BB that had a Kickstarter and got all its money. So they're still like editing it and stuff like that. So it should be, they released a trailer for it. I'm sure it'll come out sometime and maybe I'll see it. But yeah, BB's
That's so cool. I love that.
I love her to pieces.
She's such a star. I hope the documentary ends with her being like, and actually, I was the mole in All Stars 3.
She just holds up the lipstick. It's like
Says Trixie.
Yeah.
You know it says Trixie. Like I'm like, why
that.
else? I'm like, why else would you not want to show everyone?
But no, that is BB, and that's very much BB. Like,
oh really? Just keeping it close.
Personality. If it's with like the idea of her being like, this is good television, and I know that I can keep this secret, and no one can tell me not to answer because I will not answer, and I don't have to. Like she did that on purpose. Like she's smart. Like
I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she got away with that. I like.
Yes, and
it's
so
amazing.
well for her deathbed. I'm telling you, she won't tell anybody. I'm telling you.
That is so funny. That's so funny. Okay, we're gonna answer one more question, and then we're gonna move over to the Patreon and play some games. Tobias, thank you so much for asking the question. I don't know that we can really answer this, but I'll at least pose it. The Queen's Project. Will there be a season 4? God, I love the web series so much. Thank you, Tobias. That's so nice.
Thank you so much. I love the web series too.
So great.
We don't really know. I think Ken had released a statement about it, kind of saying where the process was with it. We were on a track to get season 4 happening. I know that Ken had written it out. When he was on doing his Broadway show, he was also writing the season. So I think it's really just about now getting it on board with some other producers and things like that. Because it costs a lot of money to do a web series. We were very, very lucky to raise the money that we did, for seasons 2 and 3, but they were a lot of work. It's a lot of work to petition and to push and to get these things. And a lot of that too was also the producers that we had at that time who no longer kind of were connected with it. So it's not dead. I could say it's on an indefinite hold. I know that that's his baby. But the show, I feel like, has always, when it's there, it's there. Like, we were lucky that 2 happened. It's like, okay, yeah, now it feels right. It's ready for 3. So it's like, if this is a little bit of time and a break for it, we can get more people to get onto it. And I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. So if you're an investor or producer, hit André up and give them your money. It was so much fun. I mean, I met Trey Gerald doing that web series, and I mean, now he's like, my best friend for life, and have you guys to thank for that. It was such a blast. It's so fun and so funny, and I mean, the numbers are crazy. Like, so many people watch that show.
Yeah, it's really great.
I get recognized from that show all the time, and it's
too. And
so cool.
I still get messages from people that are from everywhere about the show, literally anywhere in the world. that they watch it and identify with it as a fun, nerdy, queer story. And I think that's awesome. I think that's really great.
It's so great. And yeah, like these things, it's, obviously it's on hold right now, but nothing's ever done. Like
Right.
it could be, I mean, honey, I brought the search for Elle Woods back to
You
your eyes. You never know what could be
we're
coming
gonna one of
around
these
the
reunion specials.
corner. Yeah. I was so heartbroken when I was moving to LA when you guys were filming the third season, so I could only be a
Oh,
small part of it, like through Zoom, basically. But
oh my
uh,
gosh, those scenes. So we were after we finished filming it, Ken was like, we'll watch it all together. So it was like all of us in BJ's room in Queens around his computer, and we just like hit play. And then like when your scenes came up, we were dead. We were dead because like we just kind of like read through them or whatever when we did the read through, but like you were so funny. We were like, oh my God, he just like Tim knocked us out of the park. This is so great. He like it's so funny.
thank
We
you. That was so
love.
fun. I mean, it's really rare to get to do something that's like actually written by queer people that is actually queer and has our sensibility and our humor. So that was really, really nice and really fun. And to like work with like almost entirely gay actors was really
Yeah.
so fun. And yeah, it's just there's just definitely something to be said about that. And I hope we get to see more of that in media in general. I always think about the line in season two or three, when I came in, I was like talking to Ken. He was like getting ready for a party or something, and the line is just like, "So are you gonna change for everyone else shows up?" Just like like, no one writes shade like gay people.
It was do you need some help, Ash? No, why? It's like, oh, I just thought you wanted some time to change out of your pajamas. And then you like just sauntered out.
So stupid,
That was
so
so
funny.
good. Oh, I love it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're gonna go, if it's cool with you, Andre, we're gonna go over to the Patreon and just play a couple of Slumber Party games. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
snap ball thing. I
these.
do. I remember those.
So the link to the Patreon's in the show notes, and we'll head on over there. Where can the people follow you?
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram at manchair5, spelled the way it sounds. Yeah, you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter at Cinnabons Jordan. I'm also a part of a new online magazine called the Quarantine Zine. So everyone should definitely check that out. I've started dabbling in fiction writing as like a hobby, something I've discovered that I really like doing during this quarantine. So I've been writing a lot of short stories. So every month I write a new one for this. So you should definitely check us out also on Instagram, which is the_quarantine_zine. Yeah, and we also have a Patreon as well. So they come out every month. It's free for everyone, but then we also have bonus content available on our Patreon. Patreon is the way to go. Like you feel exclusive when you know what I'm saying, when you're signed up.
Yes, it is awesome. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's like it really is like the thing keeping artists alive right now. So donate to the Quarantine Patreon for sure. It's just a really great way to help support artists, and some people find a really great way to do extra bonus content or things that other people can't see, or you get to I release my videos early. I wouldn't be doing this without my Patreon. Like it has kept me afloat during quarantine, and I like I'm filming way more content, way more videos because of people's support. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys over there. You can follow me at tmurray06. And if you're watching this, subscribe to this channel. Bye,
Like
everyone.